At some point in our lives, grief will find all of us. Each of us will have our own unique response to the way we walk through grief and loss. Many feel isolated, unsure how to navigate a very different landscape. Please join us as we follow 3 individual grief stories whose paths led them to Michael's Place. Colleen, Kim, and Faith now share tears, laughter, wisdom, and encouragement, each on a very personal journey, but now walking it together as friends.
Easter Sunday, 2015, I lost my mother to pancreatic cancer. And my little boy, who was 4 at the time, lost his best friend. And we all, to a degree, had a hard time coping with it, but he took it the hardest because they were best friends. They were always together. And he was just a lost little boy. I didn't know what to do to help him. I was a mess myself. I was 34, I just lost my mom. I'd lived with her essentially my entire life. Everything was a mess, and that poor little boy. I didn't know what to do, so it was actually a grief counselor at hospice referred me to Michael's Place. And I'm like, okay, I'm in, because I didn't know what else to do to help my son. And at that time, I didn't even realize how much of a wreck I was until we started going every other Monday and talking to people who understood what we were going through. When Valen has difficult feelings, now we talk through it. And he's able to tell me what's wrong. He's able to verbalize. Probably better than the average adult is able to verbalize when they have an issue, so that's amazing. He learned those skills at Michael's Place. We talk through things at home, but I think without Michael's Place, we wouldn't have really been able to do that. So they taught me how to talk through things too. I'm still having a hard time, even though it's been 4.5 years. I still miss them, and I'm going to. So I keep coming back because I know I have the support I need from people who aren't going to judge, for people who get it. He would not be the kid he is today. I would not be the person I am today. It would not have been a pretty sight had Michael's Place not been there.
And the next morning, I got up and went to church, and when I got out of church, I had missed a call from her, and I called her back, and she said, I talked to Dr. Bagat, and they haven't done the test yet, but they're pretty sure it's cancer. Well, my mom married my stepdad when I was 5. He was in my life from the time I was 5 until he passed away 4 years ago. That it was 14 days, diagnosis to death, and pancreatic cancer, if you've not seen it, that's how it goes. So over the course of the time she was 1.5 until she was 6.5, so 5 years of her life, she went through all of those deaths. 2 grandmothers, 2 grandfathers, an aunt, an uncle, and a dog. And that's her normal. He and Ava went for fried ice cream for Mexican every other day, it seemed, and so he was there a lot. So the loss of him was pretty strongly felt. You won't have to go to a funeral next week. And she was playing death and dying and funerals and things with her dolls, and she thought that was normal because that's all she's ever known. So I wanted her to get some normalcy, and that's what Michael's Place offers her, is people who are like her. What don't I love about Michael's Place? It's just a place to go for grieving people. So I know that Michael's Place gives her a place to be okay, a place to be her, a place to hurt. Because we all have to hurt. So I can tell, she loves it. She loves it, and it's a godsend. I hope there's no statute of limitations on it, because we're not going anywhere.
April 6, 2017. My husband had a sudden heart attack at home. I have 4 children, 3 older boys, and then Ariella, who's 8. She was only in kindergarten at the time. She was 6. Because I remember when it happened, just even ask the fire department and the ambulance, what am I going to do now? He's gone. How do I start? What am I supposed to do? How am I going to afford this? I couldn't do it. So the counselor at Ariella's school introduced me to Michael's Place, gave me their phone number. After her dad died, she didn't talk a whole lot about him. She was more sad than anything, but she still wouldn't talk about him. But then when she met Brianna, she started talking to Brianna. And that's when it finally broke and got her to finally talk about him. We talk about the different things that we did together, like go to the Buckley Engine Show. We went to the fair. She went fishing with him. She learns it's okay to cry. She learned it's okay to cry and talk about him, that she doesn't have to not cry. She can still be happy. She can still be that happy girl even though Daddy's not here. We could still do things even though he's not here. He always called her Sweet Pea or Ariello. He'd call her Ariello. She's like, that's not my name. But that was his and her thing. She just loved it. Yeah, when we arrive at Michael's Place, you always get the warm greeting when you come through the door. Everybody's happy to see you and greet you. It makes you feel wanted. You're happy there. And Ariel's just miles away.
We all have our own individual responses to loss. Our futures are uncertain, yet knowing a healing path provides a powerful force towards who we become in our families, relationships, and our communities. Michael's Place is there, building relationships for resilient lives for a better tomorrow.